Greetings. By discovering the enemy's dispositions and remaining invisible ourselves, we can keep our forces concentrated, while the enemy's must be divided. We can form a single united body, while the enemy must split up into fractions. Hence there will be a whole pitted against separate parts of a whole, which means that we shall be many to the enemy's few. And if we are able thus to attack an inferior force with a superior one, our opponents will be in dire straits. The spot where we intend to fight must not be made known, for then the enemy will have to prepare against a possible attack at several different points, and his forces being thus distributed in many directions, the numbers we shall have to face at any given point will be proportionately few. Now, what this is telling us is essentially the principle of if you're defending everywhere, you're defending nowhere, which is, I believe, something that Clausewitz has spent some ink and focus upon many centuries later. The idea behind this is simply that you want to concentrate your force so that in the local area you're overwhelming your opposition. But that's not going to happen if the enemy knows what you're doing. That's why you have to use deception and warfare, because if the enemy knows what you're doing, there's no way that you're going to get away with it. So if you can keep what you're doing secret from the other side, then you can put more forces into one space than the enemy is prepared to deal with, and you can be much more packed than you would be ordinarily, because you know that the enemy doesn't know where you are. At least you should. That's the idea. So it's about finding a weak spot and then putting your strength against that weak spot. It doesn't matter if the enemy is 10 times larger than you are as a whole. In that particular place, at that particular time, you're the one outnumbering the other side. And that's the thought process behind ignoring for a moment the larger strategic picture and focusing only on the tactical, and then finding some way to turn a local disadvantage for the enemy into an advantage for you. So it's the thought process behind it. It's the thought process of breaking down the situation and looking not at the total says the other side is much stronger, because what you do is you find a place where you can be the stronger one, and then you go out and you do something about it. And that's the approach that Sun Tzu is trying to gently guide us towards, having gone from the big stuff and then slowly getting more detail in, so that we're able to see how to do it. Thank you very much.